Good morning. Welcome to ATI ProMedia. Good morning, Brady Huck. We're going two screen right away. We have a little video to play. We'll open up with that. Unbelievable action in cattle yesterday. If you weren't there yesterday, Brady and I, we did a live special about 125, 1.5 hour. PJ Quaid joined. If you guys could play that little reel you made of all the headlines, look at this. I'll read them. U.S. dairy farmer worker infected with bird flu. Uh, Looks like it spread to cows in 5 states. Texas, everyone's going on defense here. Bird flu hits U.S. dairy cattle for the first time. Here's what it means to milk supply. Well, you understand in journalism and news and in papers that people are looking for headlines. And sometimes if you read the headlines, you end up selling papers, is the old saying. But cattle bouncing here today. Big volume on the open. Looking at the Junes, feeder cattle bounced. I noticed, Brady, I don't know if you had a chance to look, but there's in April cattle right on the open, there was an iceberg. So the market tried to sell off real hard. And if you look at 186.60, 936 traded there, that was an 800 lot that was just, if you're wondering what an iceberg is, it's where they just show you the tip of the order. So maybe they bid for a 10 lot and it just keeps showing up. So they don't bid for 800. So the market swooped down to absorb that order, and then it rallied, which is nice to see. Thoughts after getting a good night's sleep? I know I texted you at 11 o'clock last night, Brady. Thoughts on cattle before we read the headlines?
Yep, still burning the midnight oil yesterday. Big busy day. Gets a little bit of LRP done. Great to see the market bounce here. We just don't know what we don't know here, Tommy. There's so much uncertainty, and is this event? We can poo-poo this event. It might be a non-event in a week, in a day. The market might forget it. There's a lot of things going on in the cattle market, in all our markets, and we just don't know what we don't know going forward.
Yeah. I noticed our phones were lighting up at ATI ProMedia. I think people were calling thinking they could do the trade that happens on Friday on cattle on feed number, where you get the day before's prices. But to be perfectly clear, the markets close on Friday and data comes out and you get Friday's price. And there's a lot of assumptions that we'd move real big on Monday. In the case of yesterday, correct me if I'm wrong, we had the move and you get the closing price, and that wasn't nearly what people were probably a little surprised on that one, correct?
Correct. Yep. And the volatility spikes up. So, options cost a little bit more and everything costs a little bit more. When the markets go down, volatility comes up. I'm going to throw that chart up if you don't mind, Tommy.
Yeah, I'll go back to the headlines in a little bit. Talk about that volatility.
Yeah, so this is a feeder cattle historical volatility, and this goes back to the first of the 22 timeframe. So beginning there, you got maybe some Ukraine war spike back in early 22. You can see also on that graph as you moved on the right side, the September to December sell-off where volatility spiked in cattle. And with cattle, volatility goes up when we come down, and we're kind of the highest volatility point since last fall that we've seen right now. But big question about where it goes going forward. So,
yeah, let me go backwards and jump in the headlines. I was just excited to talk about cattle. Last night, everyone, gold made a new spike high. Gold currently up $30 that I can see. It was up close to another 40 last night. Crude oil 6-month highs. Bitcoin is down 5%. That's just a big move there. We're seeing some big volatility in interest rates. Interest rates are moving a lot. Looks like the Fed's take odds of a rate cut in June dipped to below 50%. And then this headline was interesting. Also, China asked traders to curb some arrivals of overseas corn. What do you think of that, Brady?
well, anytime we got a big importer like China saying we don't want any more imports or we want to curb those imports, that to me is not a very friendly headline, and doesn't look like corn's liking it very much here out of the gate. But
No, I'm looking at some options here on my quote board, and May options, May calls are very depressed from where they were on Friday. I'm looking at an option that traded 9.5 cents on Friday. It's trading 3.5 today. But we do see beans up. That's good. We're seeing some other things up. Of course, gold, silver, cattle on the bounce. Hogs didn't seem too affected by yesterday's news, and beans taking the lead. We did see some strength a couple times overnight in wheat, and then a little bit during the day. But now wheat's doing wheat things. Very interesting. Yesterday was the first day of the month, first day of the new quarter, but a lot of Europe was on holiday for Easter Monday. So I feel like we have the whole world back to trade, fund traders. We're gonna trade some contracts today. Real quick, I want to talk about something PJ said yesterday. He said sometimes it takes a major event to get all the traders to show up. So when I was in Chicago in the pits, we talked about yesterday on the show with Tommy, Brady, and PJ from RJ O'Brien, but you could hear the roar in the pits. And although we see all these tickets and they're moving, we couldn't hear the roar in the cattle market yesterday, but we could definitely feel the pain when you and I break down how much each contract or each future of cattle moved. But one of the things PJ said is sometimes it takes a big move to get all the traders to show up. So myself, others, it was up extra early, had all the tickets up, for cattle tickets up, for feeder cattle tickets up, all the options, calling clients. And we traded some big volume already here looking at some of these cattle, just June cattle in particular. We're approaching 20,000 here on the 9 o'clock hour. We'll see where we end up. But that news came out about 12:15 yesterday, Brady, and the market started to be affected at 12:20.
Yep, minimal impact to, cash auctions out there. If you want to look at what cash did on Monday at local sale barns, or, and we obviously haven't had a whole lot of cash trade on the fat cattle side of things. But when that news came out, most of the day's activity for cash receipts is done. So it'll be interesting to see what happens the rest of the week here going forward. Some calls for steady to lower cash here, but bounce here this morning and kind of fading off the highs here with the cattle market. It was up 3 at one point, and here we are, $1.52 on the feeders. See what happens here today.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yesterday we talked for a long time, folks. If you haven't watched it, go back. It's on the Advanced Trading YouTube. Brady Huck, Tom Grisafi, PJ Quaid. PJ Quaid was supposed to be our ATI ProMedia Premium yesterday, and I said, "Hey, you comfortable going live in front of about 400 people?" And of course, he was in his basement, and it was awesome. We talked about a lot of interesting things. We visited back to 1997 when Oprah said she wasn't eating a hamburger, and she had to go down to Texas and was had to go to court. I hope that doesn't happen here. I hope we're not talking. I shot a text to our friend Tyne Morgan this morning, waiting for some feedback from her. But we do not want common folks going to stores saying, "I think I'm going to not get this." I don't even want to say the word. I don't even want the algorithms to hear the words I'm saying. But we want everyone to go to the store and know that our food supply is safe. More important, though, is interstate commerce. Brady, moving these animals from one state to the other. I would imagine that what are we supposed to do? Put mask on all the birds? I mean, that's the problem, right? Isn't that the solution?
Yeah.
Is
Well,
the
you said
bird?
it in the cow guy close
Yeah, no,
last
I
week.
mean, to
When
fix
you're
this, we're going to have to put a mask on the birds. If it worked for COVID, right? That's what they did. So we're going to mask up the birds, but the birds gave it to the cows. A cow gave it to a human, allegedly, and this is where we are today. I think I'm very happy that the market's bounced, but if you look at it, they're still well off yesterday's levels. Would it be hard for you to pull up your charts? You have that 100-day moving average. I'll keep
Yeah,
yapping and bapping here. I
give me
like
a
looking
minute.
at that 100. I know people like looking at the 100. I like to see. I had a new client, a new subscriber to ATI ProMedia Premium, say what stochastics are you using and what this and what that. And
Mhm.
as we know, every ship on the bottom of the ocean has a chart room. So be careful with the charts. But this is how Brady looks at the market. You want to talk about what's going on there?
Yep, love looking at them. Here's the April contract, April feeders. Make sure I don't have any things going on here, but this blue line here is the 100-day moving average on the April feeder contract, and you can see we tagged it yesterday. We actually broke below it yesterday, and then rallied up and settled right on the 100-day. And here we are. We've rallied up. I'd say we're maybe close to half back. I'd throw a fib on there to see where we at with the 50% move, but we kind of half back of yesterday's losses. I'd be watching this 243.5 area for see if we can close above that would be fantastic. But holding that low is also important too, in the 100-day on the April. Those are things I'm looking at as a chartist, but charts that only look backwards, they don't look forward, and they can kind of deceive you and give you a false sense of control. We really have no idea where things are going to go. Big picture, zooming out here, this 273 high that we saw last fall sold off to 213, rallied back to 260 area. We've given back a good chunk of that. The $1 million question, Tommy, is this $20 move off the highs? Is it the start of a $60, $80 move lower? One of these breaks, Tommy, it's not going to come back. It's this market. Bull markets don't last forever. We see that all the time. It will come back eventually, but a long, long time from now. And one of these breaks, this market kind of has a way of conditioning you, thinking that, oh, it'll come back. It might come back, but one of these days it won't. I think that's important for any cattleman out there to hear.
Yeah, absolutely. And looking over at the stock market, down 500 sounds like a big deal. Dow down 440, it's down 1.2%. Nasdaq down. These markets have had an incredible run. I do think that people who trade the meats casually look over at the stock market and go, well, we are seeing inflation creep back up. I do think hedge funds will have to be back in some of these commodities on that inflation defensive trade. We do have an election coming up, but I would have feel not just this administration, Brady, any administration wants its people to have affordable food, fuel, and fiber. And a lot of those things, when I say fiber, I think cotton. When I say fuel, I think gas. When I think food, I think steak and everything else. If you hear a news service saying that prices went down, those are news anchors who make $1 million a year who they don't food just shows up to their house from Instacart that they swiped on their credit card. They have no idea. Go buy a package of chicken breast. Go buy a steak. Go buy any high quality food. There's a reason, folks, they got rid of the dollar menu at McDonald's. With that, Brady, we don't have a lot to talk about today, and that's okay because we have a lot of people to call. I will go back to trades we did for Wednesday and Thursday. Felt a little, oh boy, folks set a floor on corn before this report, and then we spike up. Look what we did yesterday. Gave back 8 cents and then gave back 2 this morning. Uh, there's still too much corn in the world, and that China headline's a little concerning. It's nice to have a defensive stance and still have that upside open. We did have how much corn went in the ground? Where are we year to date on corn plantings?
I just got a text from Connor B, the man himself. He just texted me and he said, Brady, make sure and point out to these guys that we are twice as planted as we were a year ago. Double the planting pace, 2% this year versus 1% a year ago. Connor doing some deep dive analytics here for us.
Connor's still too embarrassed to show up after that Illinois loss. Speaking of basketball, my wife and I watched that Iowa LSU game. Totally exciting. It was interesting. There's just what an opportunity as someone who has 2 daughters for women's sports. It's incredible the attention she's brought to that sport and to all women athletes. And hats off to Iowa. Both great competitors. The girls on both teams are just fierce competitors. I'll tell you what, if I was setting up a team or a trading group or a brokerage group, I'd love to have any one of those young ladies on our team. Back in the day, Brady, when the pits were crazy, the Eurodollar pit, they used to go to the college campuses and get the college football players who were graduating, who weren't going to go on to anything other than that, and say, I want to pay you. I'll pay you this much. Just stand here. And some of the greatest brokerage careers happen from pit brokers realizing that college athletes are great at competing, oftentimes have ADHD, little problem focusing, the type of kid who can tackle 2 people but get kicked out of class for messing around. So everyone needs to find what's right for them. You know what's right for me and you is tell people about advanced trading, premium content. Just go to www.ATI ProMedia, hit the green button, premium content. With that, I'm going to read the numbers unless you want to. Why don't you do your best to read how people get a hold of us? And 5 people called yesterday afternoon. And you know what made me upset and very happy on one thing? Is Brady Huck there? Is Brady Huck there? I said, what am I, Brady's answering service? 1-855-737-FARM. Email us at info@ATI ProMedia. Yes, if you call us, myself, Tom Grisafi, Joe Grisafi, Gina Grisafi, anyone with the Grisafi name will answer. And if you subscribe here, folks, we'll send you American flag. Beautiful American flag here. Subscribe, $30 for 1 month service. We'll send you a $30 flag. If you don't like the service, well, then you don't have to pay the next month. We believe we are truly providing premium content. I know you did yesterday. Mr. Huck, thoughts on cattle? Hey, I'll do a total reporter question. Will cattle be up at the end of the day, Brady? Don't answer that question.
Yeah,
that's what they do, though. That's what they do. Exciting day. I'm glad to see that buyer showed up. And with that, let's start calling our clients, start smiling and dialing. Brady Huck, Dodge City, Kansas, registered commodity broker, LRP insurance agent, best looking guy. Connor B was off today. He's traveling Tommy Grisafi, Valparaiso, Indiana. Now, just a few words from my wife. We hope you click, like, and subscribe. Hit that notifications button on YouTube. And when we go live like that, you'll get notifications every day, night, or morning. All right, everyone, have a good day. See you, Brady.
See you.
Thanks for joining us. We're here every day, 9 a.m. Central. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.